Hello, welcome back. It's another interview with Dissonant Waves. Hello, I'm Dominic. I'm here in the actual recording. My camera still doesn't work properly, but that's okay. We'll fix that in editing. Ritz and Tricks are here, and we have a
Hello.
guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Harry from Mouseatouille.
Wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So,
First question.
I was going to say
Ritz,
first,
go take it
first
away.
before for the first question here, I should say obviously first off, congrats on the album. I know this is
Thank
Yes.
you.
from reading Congrats. previous interviews you've done this year. It seems like this has been a real slog to finally get this album out.
Yes,
Um,
yes, it has been.
we have personally been trying to get this interview for a bit as well, which kind of shows to just how busy you've been, not just with the album but also with touring. Obviously, big
Yeah.
advancements happened over the past bit. You got to tour with Black Country New Road. You got to tour with
hmm
not as much with them, but still with Your Arms Are My Cocoon, which was
Yes.
I believe your first time even touring outside of Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it was.
Albums come out. It's great. Uh, Figure that's a good
Thank you.
introduction to do. Dominic, sorry, I interrupted your first question there,
No,
but
no, please. All the intro, the better. But the question I kind of wanted to start with, starting out a little bit big. Uh, you are obviously come up through the Australian music scene, the indie music scene. Do you
Yeah.
feel like I've heard here and there that it feels kind of like an island, like onto itself, like a isolated sort of music
Yeah.
scene? Do you feel that way, or do you
100%.
feel there's more of a global connection, whether it's just in the nation itself or overall?
I think it is the times are changing for the better over here, which is good. And I think we are definitely an island, like literally and like figuratively. And that comes with some uh, advantages and disadvantages. Like an example of an advantage of being uh, from like a relatively small country like Australia is like um, a band as big as Black Country New Road will consider playing with us when we sort of, if we were in England or America, we would not be considered at that like level. You know what I mean?
mm,
I think what helped that obviously was like we have a personal relationship with those guys, but like it's relatively easy to sort of stand out within Australia because there just like aren't as many people, you know.
well, actually,
I feel like for
continuing,
us, a
I was going to
little
say, continuing
hard
on
to.
that with disconnected or that. Obviously, one of our big kind of I guess say like alternative stations in history is Triple J, which
Yeah.
even then has a bit of a disconnection. I believe even you wrote in an interview that you felt very disconnected with Triple J a couple of years back.
Yeah, I did actually. That was like that was interesting. Like that was a while ago. And it was just like my friend was doing an article for The Guardian about uh like how Triple J's listener base was somewhat declining or something, and just sort of was like, do you want to have your opinion? And I mean, I think what I said was like not particularly uncommon of an opinion to have, like for people that are interested in like indie
Mm,
music here, which was this kind of just like Triple J tends to be a little bit internationally focused, or like the days of like Magic Dirt and Spiderbait and whatever else, like being these like Triple J, like it kind of feels like Triple J's focus has shifted away from Australia a little bit. It was never 100% an Australian. I think that's a bit of a myth that like it was
mm,
100% Australian oriented, because the Hottest 100 has always had international bands in like the top numbers. Like that's
yeah.
just like a how it works. But I think definitely uh, apparently actually it's gotten a little bit better since that interview. I don't, truth be told, I don't listen to Triple J very much. It's like more pop music, I guess, than
Mm,
what I'm sort of interested in. But I don't know, like as I said, times are changing. Like I was so surprised uh that Cameron Winter was so embraced by Triple J, and I wasn't surprised because I don't think Cameron Winter's amazing. I was actually surprised because I do think Cameron Winter's amazing, and usually if I think someone's amazing, Triple J doesn't play them. So yeah.
Trix,
I
I'll
feel like
open
we
up
come
the floor
across
to
that
you.
quite a bit.
I apologize, Dominic. I keep interrupting you.
You can't see me, so
Yeah.
it's hard to know when I'm going to talk. I was gonna say just quickly that our view is kind of outsized because we cover so much Australian music because of Callum here.
Yeah.
But I would say for us, like it seems like you guys have made a lot of progress in the last few years. So that whether that
Yeah.
size still feels small, it's gotten a lot bigger.
It's become actually quite like as I've gotten older, I've really appreciated being from Australia and living in Australia. Um, I think as well, like the internet is playing a much bigger part in how people discover music over here, as it is in everywhere in the world. So like, um, I think like the people that come to our gigs now, will like we're obviously like very online band. We make a lot of references to like niche internet culture where like I mean I met Callum through like Discord. Like that's not an uncommon way that I've met a lot of people. And I think like we're seeing that reflected a lot more now with younger people. Like I think I'm like 26. I didn't really know many people that were super online, like when I was in high school and stuff. And now I think it's a lot more normal. So it's good. Like we're finally, you know, uh, sort of branching out and being like Australia is becoming more interested in that kind of music, I think, generally speaking. And that benefits us, obviously. Like if Black Country New Road are popular here, people will listen to our music more. That's just like something that we've found, like it's that sort of thing.
Well, I'll get to Tricks in just a second, but I just want to branch off on that comment as well with the whole terminally online. You do literally have a song on the album called Mike and Melissa, which is about the a very kind of niche web cartoon that's popular online for its cringe.
We do this a lot, where we make a decision and kind of a really ridiculous decision, like having a song about Mike and Melissa on the album, and then like because it takes so long for us to finish everything, we like forget that that's what like it just becomes like a song in our sort of catalog, and then we're talking to a label, and they're like, "What is the song about?" And we're like, "Oh, I forgot about that. It's about." Have you heard of furries? You have to like, explain furries and all that. You know what I mean? Like, but I think, yeah, that's just like I don't know. Like that's just our we grew up on the internet, a lot of us, and like that's just our interest. I think it's just natural for us to make music about stuff like that.
Along that sort of line, to get to my question, what does your songwriting process look like?
Jeez. I don't know. I think it's like I've got a lot less time for writing music compared to like when we did out of the hospital. Because I've got like a full-time job now, and so I think it's like there'll be these really rare and moments of inspiration where I'll write like a whole song, just like chords, lyrics, and then we develop that. We have like a weekly rehearsal with the band, and we sort of develop the song over months or even like years for some of the ones on this album. Um, so it kind of the song has like two lives. It has the life as like the song that I wrote by myself, and then it has the second life as the song that we like write, figure out as a band. And often like it's quite different when we do it with the band, and we rely heavily on like time. Like a lot of our ideas get tested by the fact that it takes us 5 years to make an album. So we, like a lot of stuff gets scrapped, and a lot of stuff gets iterated like a bunch. And I think that's sort of our process, is just like thinking and very slowly about everything.
Yeah.
Dominic, I'll let you ask the next question since I keep interrupting
No,
you.
Cal, I know you. I want you to ask the thing I know you want to ask about.
Well, there's a couple things that I want to ask about because I've done a bit of research into this one, Harry, and I guess I'll start from the beginning. So first off, happy 10 years to Kisses.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that
Thank you
was
very
a high
much.
school band for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's weird. So Claire, who was in First Kiss with me, like it was just us basically at the start. First Kiss, me and this my friend Claire. She was actually at the Sydney show. She lives in Sydney
Yeah,
now, so that was
I
like
believe
a bit
you
of a First Kiss
shouted her out
reunion.
at the gig as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which was really cool. Um, and she used to be in Mouseatouille as well, because I kind of just Mouseatouille was just like First Kiss just turned into Mouseatouille
Mm.
slowly at some point, basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
and
also
then
that one song you were talking about too.
well, that's a bit later in the Harry law, because in 2016 I also noticed that you kind of had a second career going there for a bit. For a bit there, Harry,
In what sense?
it seems like you were doing a bit of modeling work on the side.
Oh yeah, it was definitely. That was like, yeah, I mean that's so weird to think about now, and sometimes like someone will find like a photo of me because there are like crazy photos of me from
Mm.
when I did all that.
For your dignity, I
And it's
won't
like, oh
share them,
yeah, I
but
forgot.
they are some classic photos.
They're cool. I mean,
Flash them on
I
screen,
stand
Domino.
by them. Pardon?
I was just telling Domino later when he edits this to flash them on screen.
No, I don't
I
want to.
mean,
I
yeah,
don't want
go
to
ahead,
embarrass
go
him.
ahead.
I mean,
That
if you
was
want.
like that was all fun. Like that was mostly it was my friends' brands and like it's just a Melbourne thing, I think. Like
Mm.
music and fashion and art are all very interconnected here. It's like kind of being interested in music. Uh, I ended up being around all of that stuff as well, which was cool.
Dominic, I'll let you go on the next
Okay.
question. I'll continue
Okay.
on with
I
my
just
law
want to.
later.
I just. You don't have to help me with the name because I do not remember the name. It was what my wife's name is Jesus or something like that.
Oh yeah, so we discovered
Oh
as
yeah.
well the songwriting for this album isn't actually technically 5 years old, as Dan seems to have been kind of writing his song since about 2018, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. That's an interesting thing. That song you're referring to, "My Wife Is Jesus Christ," was
That's it.
gonna
Yes.
be on the album, separate to Theme from 2021. The ending of Theme from 2021 was not gonna be the way that it is on the album. Uh, and then at some point, we we'll come back to "My Wife Is Jesus Christ" maybe on the album after this. And then we had this big ending from Theme from 2021. Which I think there's a demo of that as well on Dan's SoundCloud, which is I'm assuming where you found that other
Yep.
song. Um, and I think it was my sister who plays clarinet. It was her idea to be like, why don't we just put the "I'm in love with the lizard" thing like in from that song into Theme from 2021, and it worked. Um, so yeah, there may be like some weird. Yeah, I think like what we thought then was like, well, if we do "My Wife Is Jesus Christ," people will think it's a callback to Theme from 2021 and not realize that like Theme from 2021 is actually a callback to it, you
Mm.
know? But I think
See,
that's the
that's
thing is
interesting
like
because I
really
thought it
we
was a callback to Song for Growth
ah
because that came out
well
in
we
2021.
yeah.
Mm.
No, we just this is the thing is like I think it probably kind of is like we take so much time developing these songs that it all it all just becomes like this one thing. Like all of the ideas end up blending together and become like this one. You know what I mean? Like Song for Growth Part 2, where like now that's now called at the moment it's called Joan of Arc, and that's probably going to be the first song on the next album.
Ooh.
So,
Is it
you know.
going to be reworked in a massive kind of way, or are you trying to keep it
Yeah,
very faithful?
it's gonna be basically unrecognizable, I think. Besides like the lyrics, some of the lyrics.
Yeah, fair.
Like the second, basically just the second verse sort of thing will be the same. But yeah, I
Mhm.
mean that one we really we had that one for this album like finished. Like we reworked it already a couple of times, and then it just sort of wasn't working. But then as soon as we finished the album, it worked, and we're like, damn it, now that's the next album, I guess. But yeah,
With
Dissonant
Out of the
Waves.
Hospital being kind of it seems like a concept album of sorts. It kind of tells a full story.
yeah,
Does my DJ set kind of have an internal forward through to it, or is it more of just a good mix of stuff like
I
like a DJ set list?
Yeah, I think it's more of a, I think that was my like our cop out sort of thing of like we'll call the album DJ set because it will uh alleviate the pressure of having to make like a concept album because the concept is that it's like not there's no concept, you know what I mean? Like the concept is that it's like a collage of different
Mm-hmm.
ideas. But there definitely are like themes through it. Like it feels like a continuation, like because I mean I'm never writing as a character. I'm just sort of writing as myself. Except I guess on like Mike and Melissa or whatever. But it's like it definitely, which I didn't really notice. People have pointed this out to me is that it's maybe more hopeful, less depressed. Like uh, the relationship that is alluded to and out of the hospital maybe well I mean that's my relationship and it's been going for like 9 years so it, I'm more settled into it now so there's less like like misery is more like kind of happy and content and nostalgic maybe
And that's something I
yeah
definitely noticed was the first couple songs kind of felt like a transition from out of the hospital into a more modern or just a different kind of recording style. Part of that I think is
yeah
just from the jumping quality of like recording, like just the sound quality.
yeah
But there
I think
definitely is
that
a
was
maturity to it too.
well that was one of our biggest anxieties is because like some of those songs we recorded in 2020 or 2021 or whatever so it's kind of like um we were like, oh, they're all going to sound so different. And some of them sound kind of different, but I think the guy who like produced it all for us did a pretty good job of like
Mm.
flattening it, making it all sound relatively cohesive. But yeah, you can definitely hear like, I mean, even in my voice, if you really pay attention, like I'm like 5 years younger in some of those takes than I am now. So, it sounds a bit different.
Trix, I'll throw the next question back to you.
Yeah, sure. Do you have like a dream piece of gear you've always wanted or something of that sort?
That is such a good question. We have heaps because there's so many different instruments in the band. Off the top of my head, like at the moment, we're trying to get a vibraphone. Like we played a vibraphone a little
Mm.
bit on the on DJ set, like on a couple of the songs, but we had to like go to we had to go to VCA, which is like the art school in the city of Melbourne, and like record it kind of covertly while no one was looking. Um,
Mhm.
so it'd be good to have one of those, but they're obviously like so big that I don't think we can fit it in our current share house. We have to we need a studio or something. But yeah.
Well, actually,
Mhm.
going on to recordings as well, on a bit of a different tangent, you recently actually had the first full set published as both audio and
Mm.
video because Bisky
Yeah.
finally released it. And the question I have is, what happened to the Out of the Hospital live recording? Because I know you used it on the Harry and
Nothing.
the Harry and the
Yeah,
Jets
yeah, we've got
visualizer you
it.
used it for. Is it
You know
being
what it was?
released?
Was that it's like yeah, it will be. We've got video, we've got like multiple angles of video and uh we've got every channel of audio individually recorded. Like we could make a live album with that concept. I think that might be why we haven't done it yet because it's so overwhelming.
That's fair.
We've got there's so many
Mhm.
instruments. So we've got like 30 tracks or whatever and it was ridiculous whatever it ended up being. And it's like obviously like an hour and a half long.
Mm.
So it's kind of like one day when we have absolutely nothing else to do, um, we'll sit down and figure that out. But I think I made this quite obvious. Like there was obvious like the idea of doing that concert was for the minute. The idea of that concert was to sort of close that chapter, and like not forever, just for now, because I think um, we knew that this album was probably going to come out this year. Uh, but well, I mean, when we did that gig, we didn't have any idea it was going to be on like a label or anything. But we kind of were hoping. So I think we were like, let's just walk away from the out of the hospital stuff for now, But maybe it's almost like, I mean, relatively speaking, it's almost the 10-year anniversary, like 4 more years, which will go by pretty quick.
Hmm.
Um, So maybe then we put out the concert film. It depends how it ends up. It looks good. I can't remember if it sounds good, but I'll have to see.
Dominic, on to you.
Yeah. I'm curious, where do you feel most comfortable placing Mouseatouille as a band? Because you have the kind of indie folk influence, you have kind of the DIY cred. So you're
Mm.
kind of in this interesting sphere of like, clearly there's some stylistic takes from like the microphone, Central Milk Hotel,
Yeah.
but then you have like the modern connections to like bands like Home Is Where that also were kind of like coming up DIY and kind of transition to this wider, clearer sound quality. But then you also have like the Yards and Cocoon connection as well. So you kind of float in all these different spaces and
Yeah.
influences.
Yeah, I think we feel pretty comfortable with the fifth wave emo guys. Like I would say we don't perfectly fit in anywhere, which is cool. Like that gives us the freedom to sort of, as you said, like float around and sort of, be friends with a bunch of different people in different scenes. But, like last time Yarns Like a Cocoon came here, we didn't play with them, but we like hung out with them all night when they were in Melbourne, and it was like those guys just like they get it. Like it really does feel like that they're our people. Like the
Yeah.
DIY thing. Like I mean, we have aspirations definitely of being like quote unquote real band because you need to do that if you want to like do this for a living and tour the world and like all that kind of stuff. But it does, I suppose, we do have some uncomfortability about a lot of that stuff. Like, uh, we're pretty bad at press, stuff. We're pretty bad at like social media stuff. I think we're definitely not very good at being like a traditional band. Um, yeah, and like we've done this a couple of times in Melbourne. It'd be fun to do it in other states where we like the Out of the Hospital show where we put on a gig in a really like DIY unconventional space. That is like our like we're in our element when we do something like that. We did it again for the album launch recently. We hired out this like theater that no one ever hires out in Melbourne, and it's like a seated theater, and they don't have a sound system, so we had to like install our own sound system for the day and like all this stuff. And our sound guy Joe, who's an absolute legend, like helped us with that. But that's sort of our element. Like we feel more comfortable doing that than we would like playing a, sponsored by Triple J sort
Hmm.
of showcase festival thing. Like that's not our scene at all. But yeah.
I just want to say on the DIY front too, you have your album coming out this year, and then coincidentally, if you at least follow the Through the Soil connection, you have Weather Days album coming out this year
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a really fun coincidence.
It's awesome. This has been such a great, like, this has been like the payoff year for, like, all of our friends have put out music this year, and it's been so exciting and a bit intimidating, releasing music alongside them. Like, at the start of the year, we had Horse Girl. I think, Asian Glow's put out so much stuff this year.
Oh yeah.
Apologies to
Oh,
Dave
yeah.
Weather
if I do
Day.
get through, by the way. That's Sydney weather happening over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, it was pretty horrible here actually before, but it's chilled out a bit. But yeah, Horse Girl, who are good friends of ours, put out an amazing album. Obviously, Black Country New Road, that album is so cool. Um, yeah, like, I mean, we do this like yearly album roundup at the end of every year where we sort of talk about our favorite albums that came out. And I think this year we'll be like struggling to fit them all because there's been so much
Hmm.
good stuff.
We struggle with that
Mhm.
for sure. Though I will say,
Oh
next
yeah.
episode we do have a Black Country's album up against Baby Chino and First Kisses.
Oh, really?
So
That's so funny. Baby Chino, that's awesome.
So
Tricks.
I'm distracted by a loud
Uh,
lightning out here. If my power goes out at any time, I apologize here.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
yeah, I got one on on the topic of like weird DIY venues. What space would you love to play?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Um, I think I might have even talked to you about this, Callum. Maybe not. I was talking to people about it at the Sydney show. Um, these DIY guys in Canberra put a gig on at the Telstra or the Optus like tower in Canberra. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I know that one. It's been kind of abandoned for the past bit, I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when someone told me that they were doing that, I was like, we have to do that. That would be so cool. And I heard that they also did one where they put the drummer on top of a bus stop, and the gig lasted from in between like two buses. Like one bus came, the gig started, and it had to be finished by the time the next bus came, which was pretty
It's
cool.
amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, going
Yeah.
on to DIY spaces and weird ones, the first ever Mouseatouille gig, I believe, was that not at a kebab shop?
Oh well, that wasn't quite the first. That was one of the first.
One
That
of
was
the first.
definitely
Apologies.
that that was that was maybe the inception of that sort of feeling of seeking alternate venues. Because what happened was we were booked to play this pub in Melbourne, and literally about 15 minutes before we were supposed to play, this like frazzled venue manager ran up to us and was like, "You guys are not even 18. You're 17. What do you?" And we were like, "Yeah, we're 17. Didn't you know?" And they're like, "We didn't know, and you're like, we're gonna get in a lot of trouble if people find out that you're 17. You have to get out of here." So we basically got kicked off of the lineup like 10 minutes before our set,
Mm.
which happened a couple of times. It happened about three times, I think. What in those old Mouseatouille gigs. And then we had all our gear with us, so we just like kind of set off down the street. And the first PowerPoint that we saw, which was at the front of a kebab shop, we just asked the owner if we could plug in an amp and play, and he was like, "If you buy a kebab, then sure, whatever." Which was crazy. It everyone from the venue kind of followed us, so it was huge. It was a big crowd. It was
That's
actually,
crazy.
yeah. I think
Wow.
there are videos of it somewhere. One day we were very fortunate that a lot of our friends had cameras on them all the time, so I think there's actually pretty good documentation of all of our old stuff. We have to
Mm.
go through one day and sort of piece it all together.
That
But
would be a
yeah.
cool little doc to make.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dominic, you can feel free to throw the next question.
Yeah, sure. Uh, with the kind of release of DJ set, I'm curious, is there a format or like a way you plan on, like, because you talked about having like cut content and things like that, is there a way you kind
Yeah.
of want to release any of that, or is that kind of just something you want to have vaulted until the right time, whatever that is?
Um, I think for now we vault stuff with the idea that maybe we will borrow it for the next album. We do have, I don't know if I want to say about it yet, but we because it might not, like everything that we do, it might not happen or it might take 100 years. But we have like, we do definitely have stuff in the works that may see like at least one of those cut songs be released in like some form. Um, but I think that'd probably be early next year. We'll have to see. It's not that exciting. It's just something I don't want to commit to saying because it might not happen. But
We know it
yeah, so
happens
I
plenty of
think
times.
like
People
short
say
answer,
things.
yes. Yeah.
So the question I got on next is Sawhorse Festival. You
Yeah.
guys weren't quite the headliner, but you played I guess right before it.
Well, I think that's the thing is I was told, which I don't care, but they were like, "Your guy's gonna headline," and we were like, "Cool, like whatever, that's fine." But then obviously, you know,
Freezer.
Freezer with the headline, like spiritually, even if they'd played first, they would have been the headline, because it's their last show and all that kind of stuff. Um, and that was awesome, like yeah, like I don't know, like that was a really cool night. I think a lot of the time, like stuff at the tote and stuff in that sort of way where it's like really busy and really crazy is a bit overwhelming, but it had a really nice vibe to it. And those guys are really cool, the Sawhorse guys that put that on. It's good to have people in Melbourne that are like interested in DIY and emo in that sort of way. It like facilitates uh, movement for bands like us to sort of have stuff to do.
Mm.
Mhm.
Trix, the floor is yours.
Let's go to kind of an old staple of the podcast, although it might not be applicable here in Australia. But do you have like a favorite of the Arizona tea flavors, like these?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a classic Arizona iced tea guy. I think, you know, growing up in the 2010s, being really into young lean, it was kind of like a thing to get like smoke a lot of weed and drink Arizona iced tea.
Hell yeah.
And I think
Hey,
I haven't really.
that's my life now.
Yeah, well, I haven't done that since high school. Like I had this like lung thing that out of the
Fair
hospital
enough.
is kind of about. Um, like I had this like surgery on my lung. That was why I was in hospital. And unfortunately, that's retired me from my sort of weed smoking career.
Mm.
But you know, Arizona iced tea was definitely the beverage of choice back in those days. Just the standard one, the big can.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, actually, going back onto your young lean days, during
Yeah.
COVID, you did a cover of a Drake song. I know it's not quite the same, but it is kind of in that
Yeah.
kind of same vibe. You covered Passion
Totally.
Fruit during a live set.
Yeah, that was fun. Like that we actually did like two for my birthday 2 years in a row. We did like a covers gig.
Well, that was going to
Um
be the other one I was going to mention because I noticed you covered at another gig. I believe Yellow was covered in it.
yeah,
Joker,
yeah, yeah.
Joker and the Thief, and I believe you also did a
Yeah.
Fishman's cover.
Yeah, we did. And we did all sorts of stuff. We did like Shake It Off by Miley Cyrus. We did I don't know though, it was pretty fun. Like it actually what we found was that it would make us way tighter as a band to like spend a bunch of time playing other people's music once a year. Um and then I guess we just don't have time to do it anymore, but I think it's something we'll return to because we always like work on covers just like when we're just by ourselves, like at band practice we'll
Mm.
just like for fun work on a cover and not really play it. I don't know, covers are funny. Like we don't want to really do a cover in our normal set, I don't think, but it's good to have like a gig that's dedicated to covers, you know?
Mm.
Like it's kind of it's fun, like it's and the crowd really like it. It's it's exciting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Dominic, I'll throw it over back to you.
Yeah. You do covers, but like talking about the kind of the scene you're around as a whole, are there any kind of like local bands or bands maybe more on like the national level that you kind of look to? Is it We Will Look Back at You, Love You Forever? Is it, something else from like the kind of the Melbourne scene? Like what are you looking at?
Yeah, well, maybe this is a bit of a unexpected. People seem to think it's like an unexpected answer, but there's this band called Good Morning that I adore them. They're like amazing, and I remember, when I was in high school and I was sort of starting out with music, I was really into them, and I had no idea that they were from Melbourne. And then when I learned that they were from Melbourne, it felt like it sort of my whole world like opened up in terms of this idea of like maybe I can make music as well, like it because sometimes it does feel I mean Melbourne's probably less bad than other parts of the country, but like sometimes it just feels like there's no chance, like if you're from Australia, like there's no avenue to sort of become like an internationally recognized
Mm.
indie rock band or whatever. Because it only happens like once every blue moon. Like there, you have your Amel and the Sniffers and King Gizzard and stuff, but compared to other countries, we have like an incredibly slight output of like big bands.
Hmm.
It feels like once a decade, like you get one band that sort of gets to be the band that breaks out. But yeah, when I found out they were from Melbourne, I was like, I was so excited. I'd go see them all the time, and they're still like one of the best Australian bands in my opinion.
I've heard
Yeah,
that
but I
take from
don't.
other people, so
Yeah, I
I
think it's
haven't
kind of a
personally
if you
gotten
know, you know.
into them enough. I do
Yeah,
know of them and stuff like that, but it's definitely one of those like, if that's your style, then
yeah,
yeah, then
yeah. It's a bit of a like if you know, you know. And I think a lot of it is you got to see them live. You got to listen to like they have a lot of albums. You have to listen to all of them. You have to really. It's not they're not like a casual sort of thing like. But yeah, they're great. And then all the bands that are like affiliated with them, like there's a band called Way Dynamic that are kind of blowing up at the moment, very deservedly. Yeah, there's like so much good music in Melbourne. I'm trying to even think. I mean, we love this band called Daisy Picker. I don't know if you guys are across Daisy
We're
Picker.
also covering them
made
this
them.
next week.
Yeah, made these two get across it. I saw them play at Lazy Thinking as well. Beautiful band.
Yeah, they're
Well,
awesome.
Callum also
Hmm.
thought you were related to Caleb, so
I saw green at the end of there. I'm like, is this why there's the promotion? No, I forget that green is
I
one of
thought
the.
that we had that discussion, me and Caleb, but we tried to figure out if we were related. I don't think we are, but we kind of both. I think we realized our families are from like the same kind of area as well, so we're like, oh, maybe we're related, but
Hmm.
no, I don't think we are. But they're amazing, yeah.
So next question I've got, we're going back to the songwriting of DJ set, and it's a very kind of common note that I've seen from everybody who's listened to the album, is the Sopranos ending that you put on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I've had one
I
person
love
give a
it.
theory
I
that
love it.
I don't think is what you meant by it, but was the actual ending supposed to be a car crash or something that happened at the end?
Oh, that's interesting. No, it was just, it's boring. It's just that I couldn't think of something to say that would be as impactful as just like cutting everything off like that. And then also, like literally, we were really into The Sopranos during COVID, and we sort of thought it'd be funny to do a bit of a reference. And also, like that's like a very impactful like ending. Like, um, yeah, it's very effective. It's like it's a but I guess we agonized over the timing, like getting it so it sounds really realistic, like
Mm.
uh and then I think we did too good of a job because so many people have messaged me being like there's something wrong with the album. Like did it people think it was an accident like all the time.
I definitely thought my
Um
car glitched out, but
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
fun. That was the fun of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a prank. It's a prank. It's a bit of a joke. And it's cool to
Did you
like spend 5 years working on an album and then it doesn't have an ending, you know.
did you actually like record like an ending to
No,
that and
no,
you just cut it from there,
there's
or is it
like
just that was
there's
it?
maybe like couple milliseconds extra recording of it. It's just I just stopped playing. Like how I do it live, but then we cut it so to sound like it. Yeah.
Well, also
Yeah,
going back onto
I
the
loved it.
past 5 years of recording as well, I've also noticed that well, obviously your band members and stuff would have had some other projects that they would have been doing at that time. Some of them
Yeah.
that you've actually helped on.
Yeah.
See the Glue Pot, you were on one of the albums on there, helping your violinist Aaron Lloyd also put out a record as well. Do you find just despite having all these other projects, all of you just kind of still work with each other regardless, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just it's like whoever's like thing is got the most on at that time will focus on that. Like there were periods when we were making the Mouse album where we weren't really working on it that much. Like I was doing Glue Pot instead. Like when Dutch Interior was coming out, like I played drums in Glue Pot. I don't play on the album, but I like play live
mm.
and there's another Glue Pot album that we've like completely finished writing, but we haven't recorded it yet, and I'm gonna play drums on that on the album, I think. And then same with Aaron and stuff. Like we would basically just take breaks from making the Mouseatouille album to work on that. And that's good. Like you find it inspires when you go back to the Mouseatouille stuff. You like have a different kind of mindset, and there's new ideas and stuff.
And that also flows onto to Baby Chino as well, because Alana, I
Yeah,
believe, plays in that, and she features on this album. I believe she also features on in, Into the Morgue out of the hospital. I've said that the wrong way around.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Alana, like until basically the hospital gig was like the gig in December last year was like a full-time member of the band, but basically she's in like alien nose job. She's in like 100 bands, and she basically it just is too busy to. Which is like she's. But her and I are still good friends. Like I still play in Baby Chino. Obviously, there's a new Baby Chino album coming out as well, which is gonna be great. That we've been working on for ages.
I think it's funny
But
there's that
yeah.
Okay.
alien nose job connection, because Trix, you picked that quite recently.
Yeah, I picked that recently.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, just it got recommended to me out of like sheer algorithm.
Yeah,
True.
that's a connection we have completely missed on that. So good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trix, whilst I got you, have you got another question?
Yeah. What is the strangest recording method you've used?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I think like something I was really interested in and I don't know if it ended up working out that well, but it was like I thought it would be really cool. Was like the end of my love. I like the vocals are like sung to the instrumental of the first part, and then I like stretched them out so they have all these weird like glitch sort of artifacts in them when they they sound, and then also the start of Letters, the part that's just me and the acoustic guitar. I recorded that like hundreds of times, trying to get it to sound natural, and it just always sounded really weird. So what I ended up doing is like in my old apartment, my bedroom was like huge. So I just put two microphones in the kind of middle of the room, and just sang and played guitar like at the same time. And then just kind of I just wanted to kind of sound like someone was just sitting in the room listening rather than
Mhm.
like a clean recording of a guitar and then a clean recording of vocals, whatever. I don't think either of those are like crazy or like innovative or whatever, but they were definitely like, you know, two things that we put thought into. Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed with the first Kisses record, there was sort of it seemed like an effort to kind of make it sound like kind of like singing from another room, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like there's like a certain like radio aspect to it. I'm curious if that was like an intentional thing, because I really liked how that sounds. Like there's a certain ambience to it.
The thing with the first Kiss album is like we had no idea what we were doing. Like that was it was mixed. Mix is like a generous word, but we mixed it in Audacity. Um and it was recorded using a SingStar like microphone, like USB microphone.
Hell
Everything
yeah.
about that is incredible.
Hell yeah.
We
Yeah.
didn't know that there was a different way to do it. Like we were literally like 15, 16 at the time. So we didn't know that there was like we didn't know what an interface was. Um and then I guess like yeah, the raw recordings obviously sounded like horrible. So the best way to like treat them was just like with copious amounts of reverb. So that's why those songs are so like reverberant. But then, it's really interesting because like we did other things like with First Kiss, like we would use like sampled breakbeat drums and like slow them down really slow and get these like really pitched down
Yeah.
boomy sort of drums. And then like I guess I had a period where I felt like First Kiss was amateurish and kind of cringe. But then I listened to stuff like Hydroplane, like I don't know if you guys are familiar. Like it's the Cat's Meows side project where they don't have a drummer, so they use a lot of sampled drums.
I
And
don't
really
think
like
these two know the Cat's Meow as well. I need to get them.
No.
No.
oh, you guys need to get
I need
around
to get
that.
them around them, but I'm not still not aware of the side project.
It's they just had an album come out I think yesterday actually. Oh no, it would have been on Friday.
Yeah.
Um, but it sounds to me like First Kiss, which made me feel happy. I was like, wow, like I didn't even know that we were doing something cool. But yeah.
There certainly isn't like there's. I wish I could describe it well. It just feels kind of like an anonymous hotel somewhere, and there's like something just happening in the background. You're kind of just vibing and living it.
Yeah, totally. I definitely hear that. I
So,
haven't listened to First Kiss actually in a long time. I I don't know. I often forget that it even is out there. Like we have a Bandcamp that kind of just sits there and
Yeah.
like I don't even know if we have a login for it anymore. But um, I should go back and listen. Like I feel like you're right. It is I think December is like the 10-year anniversary of our
it
first
came out,
album.
I'm pretty sure, November 10th, 2015.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is almost
That's crazy. I got a
exactly
message, Claire.
to 10 years on the day.
Yeah, I got
So
a
Crazy.
message, Claire.
I want to go a bit off topic as well and back to a previous one. We've talked obviously about internationals that you've been talking with, or other bands, but one that we've kind of completely missed is Post Office Winter.
Yeah,
You
the goats.
You put out a song with them in 2022, which was
Yeah.
I believe only like a minute and 30 seconds. And I
Yeah.
believe you also released it on April Fool's. I could be wrong about that, or around that day.
Yeah, we did. We made a Bandcamp that was like April Fool's 2022.bandcamp.com or something like that.
Was the plan only
Yeah.
to ever
Surprised it was
release one
available.
song with them, or did he ever have like other plans to do collabs with them? I know obviously
I'd argue
they've on the dog show stuff.
Yeah. Well, I would argue like Dog Show is like it's that was probably as collaborative as Aaron's song. The thing about Aaron's song was that it just felt like a bit of an anomaly in both of our catalogs. So like neither of us really wanted it, and also it's like kind of us at our like silliest, most terminally online. Like it doesn't even. I don't know if it comes across. That song is about like listening to ASMR. Um, it's about this ASMR person that they were into, called Aaron. I can't remember her YouTube name, but yeah,
Well, I also want to go back onto Dog Show as well, because Dog Show was actually kind of, I guess, secretly released back in 2022. It was a part of the
yeah,
Sawhorse Forever compilation, which I believe was. It's not actually on there on the Bandcamp anymore, but on the cassette and everything, it is on there.
yeah. Well, I just felt like when we went to put our album out properly, I was like, it was kind of a demo version. It wasn't exactly the same as the album one. And I sort of was just like, I figured we'd put it out as a single, and I was like, I just don't want to have copies of it already floating around and whatever. So Garage Sale were cool enough to take it off. Like I was obviously like, I love you guys. I just don't want to like kind of pre-leak any of our new music. Um, but I think it's cool that it's on the cassette. Like it's a bit of an Easter egg. Yeah, and
Mm.
that's a great compilation.
Yeah, there's a lot of DIY Aussie bands. I think there might even be one or two internationals on there. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
But
there are.
I
I
think
can't remember off the top of my head.
I wouldn't be surprised if they are getting a Body of Water was on there, because I know they have had some Sawhorse connection.
Yeah, it might have been like Sword 2 or whatever they're called, and there were a couple. I'm trying to remember. Um, I know. No, sorry, Full Body 2 is what I'm thinking of. And Melania uh, Cole. Oh, Melania Cole, sorry. There are actually a lot of them. I'm cheating. I'm
Mm.
looking at the track list. People I Love was on there. Sundots. Yeah, that was a pretty good. A lot of Through the Soil
Yeah,
names
Mm.
I
on
recognize a
there.
lot of those names.
Yeah.
Dominic, I'll throw the next question to you.
Yeah. So with I can't remember exactly how many people ended up being on out of the hospital. I feel like it was like nearly 30 altogether.
Yeah,
And now
something like
DJ
that.
sets kind of gotten smaller. Is that kind of saying you've stabilized the amount of people? Because I do like the idea of Mouseatouille kind of being like this collective that endlessly just brings people in. But obviously, it's your image, your band.
Yeah, I think who knows what's going to happen. I think logistically it's a lot easier to just say like these 9 people are on the album and that's about it. I think there'll always be space for like Alana to be on the album. There's always going to be space for like Post Office Winter because those people are de facto members of the band, I would say. Um, but it just sort of depends. Like Braden, who does our visual stuff, played a little bit on the last on DJ set. Um, but it just depends who's around. And like, I think the other thing is that we're toying with the idea of doing the next album, quote unquote, properly, like in a studio, which would, I guess, limit our ability to have random people playing. But we'll see. We're open to anything. I also really like the idea of having a bunch of people on the album, but it is logistically
Mm.
complicated.
Now I want to go back to your first album as well. Turn Off the Lights, Brace for the New Millennium. I'm probably getting the title a bit wrong. Uh,
Filled the bathtubs, turn off the
Phil
lights. I think.
Bartov's. My apologies. Will you ever go back to playing any of those songs live, or do you think that's an era that's just gone from Mouseatouille now?
No, we played I'll Swim with the Sharks like at our single launch gig, which was fun. I think we definitely will go back to playing some of those songs live. It just depends on the context. Uh, I guess like a lot of our gigs recently have been like for different purposes. Like
Mm.
this recent tour was like in service of the album, so we kind of felt like we had to play songs from the album. And then we're playing Meredith, which that's going to be a tight 30-minute set with no kind of silly business in it. So I think we probably won't play any of those songs for that. But if we do like, you know, kind of weird headlining shows on our terms, I definitely could see us pulling out some of those songs.
Well, actually, that's a good point, because one, I forgot to say congrats on getting onto the Meredith lineup. Uh,
Oh, thank
and
you.
the next question comes to that is, I guess, how excited are you to play, I guess, what was probably your first, like, major festival?
Yeah, yeah, definitely our first major festival, and I would say it's the coolest Australian festival.
I've
Definitely
heard
the
that from
coolest
people.
Victorian festival. It just has a legit sort of vibe. There's no, they're so cool. The people that run it, they're like
I'll interrupt
the
you
way
just
it's
to give
organized is
context to Trix and Dominic. It's like a one-stage camping festival, and people have been known to like bring their own couches over to sleep on and watch the people.
yeah,
It's that kind of festival.
That sounds
yeah.
lovely.
Yep. So if
And it also
Sounds lovely.
it has it's been known to have very good lineups.
Hmm.
Like 2009, Animal Collective were one of the headliners, like in the Meriwether Post Pavilion era. Like I don't know, all sorts of bands have played
Well,
that
I'm pretty sure
festival.
Black Country, they weren't Meredith, but I'm pretty sure they were Golden Plains, which is
Yeah, which is
related. Yeah.
the same thing. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
they
kind
were
of it's
actually.
kind
You're
of
right.
following their footsteps as well there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think the lineup this year is actually sick. Like TV and the radio are the headliners. Nina Girachi's been announced as like a late edition.
Which I feel
Uh,
like she's got to
uh,
get added everywhere. It's just that year for her.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be so lit. Perfume Genius, I think, is another headliner. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but yeah, it's like we're pretty excited to be on that lineup. It's gonna be massive.
Trix, next
Trix, what do you
question.
got?
Yeah.
No budget. What instrument would you like to record Mouseatouille on, like a car lion or something like that?
Yeah, well, I think like uh we've thought about those huge modular synth sort of things. Like that would be something we'd really be interested in using, like the giant, like a
Mm.
paper face
Oh,
sort of
oh yeah.
synthesizers. We're really into synthesizers. I think that like when you asked before like what's our dream instrument, the first 100 that came into my mind were synthesizers as well. Like
All right.
um, and they're kind of hard to find and obviously really expensive. We almost bought this like cool vintage Moog recently, and then we missed out on it. And now we're trying to chase one down. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. The Opus something. It's the one that Stereolab use,
Okay.
which is why we're gonna get it. But yeah,
Dominic, I found
Or you
next one
change
for
it up a
you.
little bit. Change it up a little bit. What do you prefer for pizza toppings? And does that change when you're ordering for the whole band?
that's a really good question. Um, I'm a classic guy. I like I like a New York sort of slice. Just margarita, I suppose it's called over here. I guess they just call it. What do they call a margarita pizza in America? Do you guys even have a
Well,
name for it?
there
Just
is
like,
actual margarita pizza, but normally we just call cheese and sauce cheese.
yep. There you go. Yeah, just a
Yeah,
cheese
margarita's
pizza.
like tomato and basil and stuff.
Yeah.
That is kind
Yeah,
of what it is here. I mean,
yeah,
Like real thin crust, like cracker thin.
yeah. Just a New York slice.
As the New Yorker of this podcast, I feel something.
so
Whereabouts in New York are you?
I'm in Ithaca.
Oh, hell yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm gonna go
Thank
back
you.
onto the album here as well. I guess back into Out of the Hospital as well, which after the album was released, you did a couple of DIY music videos. I think a couple years after and all that, and on the actual album launch for DJ set, it seems you've done your actual first kind of, I guess, proper music video with Mike and Melissa. Uh,
Yeah.
what was the creative? I guess everything behind that. Not even just creative, just everything.
Yeah, well, we're lucky that we know this guy, Jamie Walsh, who's like a really talented filmmaker and had just sort of been pitching that he wanted to do a music video for us for ages. He's the one who filmed the the hospital gig. He's
Yeah.
filmed like a lot of our gigs, but we've never released any of it. I think we're just compiling footage for like, archival purposes, basically. But yeah, then he was like, he had all these ideas for videos, and that was the one that we were like, that's a really funny idea. Let's do that. And then he organized it all, so it was super legit. Our friend Bodie played the bell boy and was like amazing. It was fun, you know. It was just like it felt kind of goofy, like being on camera and having to like not act, but you know what I mean. But it was fun, you know. We were trying to go for like a Yola Tango music video sort of thing, where it's like, you know, a bit corny and kitsch.
Well, the other important thing is it also got played on Rage.
Yeah, which was really crazy. That was awesome.
Which I don't know if I've described.
I mean,
Rage
that's another
to
thing
the
that
listeners,
surely.
but it's like a music.
Yeah,
video
exactly. Surely.
Show bloody thing. So, continue, please.
Australia has weird music institutions like Rage.
Mm.
Like Rage is something that would not mean anything in America, but like because of how kind of small and community oriented Australian music is, it's like, oh, Rage, like this is like a prestigious sort of, you know what I mean? Like
It has,
it's kind of,
it has.
when
That
I was explaining it to my American
prestigiousness,
friends, yeah,
even though
my
like
American
they
friends
will
were
play
like, we
anything
don't
on it.
understand this. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, it's the kind of thing that my mum was like, oh, wow, you got played on Rage. That's great. You know?
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool. That's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
like it probably would have been at like 1:30 a.m. in the morning, but like
Yeah.
so many people just
Yeah.
record or just watch it, and it's just
It's cool. Rage is kind of set up for like drunk and high people. Like they play like kind of experimental or like somewhat outsider music videos from like 11 p.m. to like basically 6 a.m.
mm,
Like they just play it
Hell
all
yeah.
night. And like they
Okay.
often have guest programmers. Like that's something we really want to do is like go on as a band and like say like, you know, the band will be like, oh, we chose this video because this we like this song, whatever, and then they play, you know, like it's just like a weird anomaly of the Australian music industry that it's something that started back when like music videos were popular in like the 90s
mm.
and just like never went away.
Yeah, it's kind of like if it ever
Oh,
goes
yeah.
away, we'll have a riot. Anyway, so Dominic,
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I was gonna ask another question, but if you want to continue on that, that's fine.
no, that was actually
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Sure. So when we first discovered Mouseatouille, it was through Callum because you were both on the Os Music Discord and you were promoting
Yeah.
out of the hospital there. I'm curious if that was like your marketing strategy of like going to places like that and kind of like letting it seed. And if so, where is the weirdest places you wound up? And how did it work out,
I
you
don't
think?
know. It definitely, you know what, it's like it was just because I think that was I mean, if the album had just come out, that would have been either beginnings of or middle of like COVID sort of times.
I think it was around like
So I was sort of
November
stuck.
2020 or something around that. So about that.
Yeah.
It had been
So
out for a
you know,
minute.
I was sort of stuck on my like, especially in Melbourne, we were locked down for a long time. Like I don't even remember, but it was like it was like the we had the longest lockdown in the world. I'm pretty sure.
It's
So
one of
you know,
those kind of like survivorship bias ones as well, because I think you're one of the only ones in Australia that did the lockdown, or at least treated it. So.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, so it was weird. Like I ended up marketing quote unquote the album on Discord, but to me it didn't really that wasn't the intention. It was just I was like so bored because I was stuck inside. And you know, we just put out this album and I was like I just want to talk to like random people about music. And you know, I made a lot of friends that I still have now during that time. I guess the most like notable sort of thing that came of all of that was like I met, you know, Post Office Winter and etc. That scene. And that scene have gone on to be so incredible and I just never would have guessed. And like knowing those people has sort of, I guess, like inspired us and like kind of helped us, or not even helped us, but just like we've hung out with them in America and stuff like that. Stuff that, you know, it just feels so crazy that you can like go on a we met on a Neutral Milk Hotel fan Discord, I think. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
then, you know, I remember talking to like I think it was Desi, who's like a member of Dearest Friends and like a bunch of other bands I can't think of off the top of my head. In the Hello Gallo sort of world of bands. I don't know how familiar you guys are with that, but you
For
should
the
get
for the
into it
sake of
if
it,
you're
we'll
not.
say we are.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I remember Desi being like, basically, we're all in high school and like, we all make music and like, here's some of our music. And I remember listening to it and being like, whoa, this is really good. And like, none of it had been released yet. And then I remember one of those bands was this, at the time, four-piece band that then became a three-piece band called Horse Girl. I remember when Horse Girl got signed to Matador, I was like, what the fuck? And then Lifeguard was another one of those bands. Sharp Pins, which I suppose kind of was born out of this band called Dual Troop. Basically, all of these people ended up being like pretty successful. And I knew at the time, like, because I was like, these kids are like so driven and talented. But also, a lot of people are driven and talented and they don't get successful. So I think it was like, I was very happy for those guys. They deserve it. And it was really cool to kind of see their, after COVID had sort of finished, see their career trajectories even continue still, like, you know. Um, yeah, so I think that was probably the craziest connection that I got to make during that period. And all those connections I think have lasted because they were made outside of the music industry entirely. They were like very genuine. Like we just would talk about music all day. We would rarely talk about our own music. We'd mostly just talk about other music that we liked. So I think it was, there was no element of like marketing or clout chasing or anything. It was just very genuine.
I do want to say for us real quick that listening to Out of the Hospital I think was a real big turning point for the podcast because we had just spent 2020 kind of getting our feet wet and like listening to like the Neutral Milks and the microphones and all that stuff, kind of establishing the things that we liked. And then Out of the Hospital, we covered that, and then from there we started getting really deep into like the fifth wave and like doing a lot
Yeah.
of like Homeless Wear, Origami Angel, Your Arms, etc., etc., etc. And it kind of points back to Mouseatouille kind of being the start, like the base point of where everything then came from for us. Of like that's what we like refer back to. That's like home base in a way. So I always like look back on that very fondly. So you didn't intend it to be that way, but thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. I mean, that's the thing is we've just been really lucky. Like even I think it was like I saw through a tweet that Your Arms My Cocoon had said like go listen to Mouseatouille and like Asian Glow had said like something along the lines of like these are my favorite albums at the moment and and like Other Hospital was there and I was like I mean I had no idea how my music made it to any of those people. And then like Michael Sarah Palin have like reached out. Like all these bands are just like so cool. Have reached out and just I think that's it's more important to us than being like famous or whatever. It's like just connecting with people whose music we care about and whose thing that we care about. Like this podcast is very cool. I've listened to a fair bit of it. Um, I've listened to a lot of the interviews you guys have done, and like
Oh, thank you.
I love when you guys talk
Thank you.
about us. It's very nice. You say quite nice things. So it's just cool connecting with people who have a cool thing that they are passionate about. That's like what it's all about.
So
Do you think
I've.
it was kind of
Do you want to go
just
first,
to
or
really follow up real quick?
yeah, yeah.
You think it was kind of the trawling of Bandcamp and like the COVID days that kind of brought this on? Because Out of the Hospital came
Yeah,
out, I think, at just the right time.
yeah,
And
yeah. I
that's when
think
Your Arms also
definitely.
blew up and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It was like this fifth wave emo thing, which is so exciting for us to think about because it was impossible for it to be coordinated. Like our albums, like come in, Asian Glow's first album, Your Arms Like a Cocoon's like first album, and Out of the Hospital, and Stomach Book, and all these other, what we say is
Stomach
fifth wave
Bug, hell
emo.
yeah.
It all kind of came out at the same time. We didn't look at one another and be influenced by one another. It was like all these people in completely different corners of the world, uh, having the same like idea, which was so cool, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that
And
was
it got
very
an audience
inspiring.
too.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing is that other people had the same idea too, and from like an audience perspective, and there was a desire for that kind of music. Like when I heard "Come In," we were basically finished without the hospital, and I was like, oh my God, like this is like exactly what we're trying to do. Like this is so cool, you know?
I'm hoping those audiences are still out there looking for new stuff because there are bands like Bug Hug that we've heard, and it's like there's something here. This is really good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was gonna go back onto the. I guess a question you probably had a couple times. Did anybody show up to any of the gigs expecting a DJ set? I know you did clarify in one of your stories that you said this is a album called DJ set, not a DJ set, and then you actually did do a DJ set a couple days ago.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the ways that we like fucked ourselves over. Is we thought it would be so funny to call the album DJ set. And I think, you know, again, like the false ending sort of thing. It's like people like, is this a DJ set? You know, that it kind of limits people's like interest or whatever. But I don't think anyone did. I think everyone was understood. And I think people have actually understood the name. Like people know what we're sort of getting at and why we would have called it that, and they get the joke and they kind of see the, you know, the sort of the intent in calling it DJ set.
Tricks
How does it feel to kind of predate the cultural resurgence of Ratatouille with Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's another thing is that people have asked me about, and it's like, I mean, I don't even know why we called the band Mouseatouille. It wasn't really because of the movie. It's a good movie though. But yeah, I think that's another thing is we're just like we're lucky a lot. We make stupid decisions that end up being good decisions.
Tricks, I'm gonna throw the floor over to
All
you.
right. Okay. Another food one. You're ordering a burrito. What protein do you get?
You know, I usually just get like, are we talking Taco Bell or what are we talking?
Like, yeah, I guess Taco Bell or like a
Yeah,
if you
it's
have like a
probably weird to
Chipotle
say
equivalent.
burrito
I'm
because I
guessing
think we
no.
have more of a kebab culture than a burrito culture here.
We really
Fair.
do have a
We're
kebab
mostly
culture.
burritos over here.
Or
Yeah, I would
kebab, and
say
that
though, like burrito wise, I go pulled pork.
Okay.
At Guzman y Gomez, which I don't think
yes,
Americans have.
no,
I don't
we
know if you
do.
guys
At
have
least in
Guz.
Illinois, we do.
Oh, really?
I do not
Yeah,
have them over here, but I have had like carnitas pork in a burrito.
I think it's just
I'm
like the
so
same as
obsessed.
Chipotle sort of thing. Like it's a
They're
the
better.
similar vibe.
They're
That's
better.
good. Yeah, I like Guzman y Gomez a lot. And then Taco Bell, I guess I just go ground beef because that's like the classic, you know. But I don't get the burrito at
Yeah,
Taco Bell. I get the crunch wrap,
that's
you
fair.
know.
This is inspired because I left my burrito on the radiator across the room. I've just been
To
staring
warm
at
it
it the
up.
whole. Yeah.
So I'm
That's
gonna
some
go.
upstate New York shit.
I want to go back to First Kiss for a second here as well because in my research I found some interesting gigs that you played. Do you remember
Yeah.
playing one at Bar Open back in 2018?
No. Why is that?
You were on the same lineup, both supporting as teenage dads. At least that's what the poster
Yeah, I remember
says.
that actually. Yeah, I remember that. They were nice guys. I mean, they probably are nice guys. I haven't spoken to them since that gig. They that was cause my friend was dating the bass player at the time.
Connections. You
Um,
also
and
later that year seem to have also supported the chats, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, that I remember. That was awesome. That was an incredibly stressful gig. So our drummer, who's the drummer in Mouseatouille, Spencer Noonan, um, decided to go out skateboarding like an hour before I was supposed to pick him up. So I went to his house to collect him, and he was like sitting on the couch, kind of looking like really forlorn. And I was like, "What happened?" And he's like, "I broke my arm like just then. I fell over and broke my arm skateboarding." And I was like, "Oh my God, we have to play with the chats in like an hour." So I put a thing on Facebook and was like, "All right, we're playing with the chats tonight. Who wants the drum?" And this guy from my high school was like, "I'll do it," and just like it went well actually. He was a good drummer, but it was very stressful. And then those guys were really nice. I think at the time I sort of felt like because they only really had Smoko out and they were a bit of like a meme. I kind of thought they'd be a bit of a meme, but they were really knowledgeable about music. Especially like Eamon. I talked to Eamon after the gig.
Yeah,
He was
I've
really
heard
nice
good
and
things about Eamon's.
yeah,
Obviously, we've also
Mhm.
covered the unknowns as well, which is
yeah,
basically the other chats. I know it's not exactly in
yeah,
those other aspects, but it's just the easiest way of describing that band. Dominic.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
curious
He's
for
a
that.
cool guy.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. For that skateboarding story, real quick. I'm
Yeah.
curious, like, what do you tell the fill-in drummer at that point? Like,
Oh
this
yeah.
song's
Well,
in this, this song's in this, or
I just said like this song's uh in 4/4. Like there's a bit where we stop. I'll cue you. I think luckily I didn't sing too much in First Kiss, so I could basically face the drummer the whole time and kind of talk him through the songs while we played them. You know, it worked out surprisingly well. Like there was no one would have been any the wiser that we didn't know what we were doing.
because
And
I
I
feel
remember
like
the crowd
people have that
kind of
kind of
hated
story all the
us.
time. I always wonder how
Mhm.
does it
Pardon?
actually work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to have a good drummer, I think, to be able to pull it off. And the crowd were like kind of not into it. And then we did a cover of "When You Sleep" by My Bloody Valentine, and the
Ooh,
crowd liked that a lot. Yeah, that was a fun gig.
just throw in some shoegaze and they'll listen.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
So I guess the last thing I've got in my research here as well, and I'm going to go back to your first album, and actually specifically towards the album art for this. So originally I
Yeah.
thought this was a bowl of oranges, but uh, I was proven wrong when I actually found the source. But I think I'll let you describe what the actual source of the album art is.
It's a photo of some lemons from my mum's Instagram. If you reverse image search it, does it come up with my mum's Instagram?
I'm not gonna go put out ways of finding your mum's Instagram for reasons of doxing,
That's
obviously.
awesome.
Obviously, but yeah. So what
I don't
was
know why we made that the cover. I
yeah?
think we just thought it'd be funny to use a photo from my mum's Instagram. And then that one was like the most recent one, and we were like, yeah, that'll work.
I mean, it ended up making what is personally a pretty good album cover, assuming as it is just a random
Yeah,
photo.
yeah, yeah. I thought it
Mhm.
looked cool.
Dominic, floor's open to you.
Do you want to get into the random shot questions?
Yeah, I think that's fine. If Tricks, if you haven't got a long-winded question remaining.
I don't have any big questions left.
Yep, that's fair. So Harry, just for the next 10 minutes probably, just to wrap this up, we're just gonna ask a couple
Hell yeah.
questions. Just think of the first answer on the top of your head, and yeah, on that. I guess I'll start. What's your favorite release that you've been listening to from like the past month?
The new Frog album, which is called The Count. They're awesome.
Tricks.
Is there any
Well done.
reference to Obscure from Mouseatouille?
Oh, no, definitely not.
What games have you been playing recently?
I got a Switch 2, so I've been playing the Donkey Kong game, which is so good.
Dream act to see live, not play with, just see.
Yeah. Um, Neutral Milk Hotel.
The fair one.
Any dreams of checking out the South Korean scene?
Yes, we want to go do an Asian tour. We're trying to find an inn. It seems like a bit of a tough market, the Asian market. Like, just to get there is like expensive, and we want to make sure people come. So I feel like we have to do a bit of work over there first.
How do you take your coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
Tea drinker or just neither? I mean,
Pardon?
I know you said iced tea, but are you a tea drinker then, or?
No, no. I'm like a based soda drinker.
What's your soda then?
I've really been liking A&W cream soda, but I'm literally like my girlfriend is like disgusted by me because we'll go out to like a nice restaurant and she'll get like a. I don't drink alcohol either, so she'll get like a cocktail and I'll get like a Coke, and the waiter will be like, "You're a child. You're getting a Coke at a nice restaurant." But
I'm in the same boat, so no judgment here.
yeah,
You're at a nice restaurant. What are you ordering?
steak,
Medium rare.
medium rare,
I was
medium
gonna
rare.
say hopefully not well done. What was your
No, not
favorite
well.
album as a kid?
I think like the first album that I was really seriously into would have been Demon Days by Gorillaz. And I think I'm still really into it. I was listening to it the other day.
One musical bad habit you had to unlearn for DJ set.
Writing the same song over and over again. I think that was like the main thing I got into that I really made an effort to not do on this album, which is probably why there's less songs, to be honest.
Come back to me. I just had one and I lost it.
What was the first gig you ever saw live?
It was
That was it.
Gorillaz actually. Gorillaz, De La Soul, and Little Dragon. How crazy is that?
That's a good lineup.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Would you agree if I said that post-op does a lot of heavy lifting in a hospital?
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's an unsung, an unsung hero of the first half of that album.
Dream band to open for.
To be honest, like, uh, probably Neutral Milk Hotel again. I mean, it'd be pretty hard to open for them. I think like
Yeah.
the crowd would be so excited they wouldn't be able to pay attention to our set, but it'd be fun.
Funnily enough, I think Superchunk were the openers when they actually did play in Australia. It is
That's
before
so
my
interesting.
time. I would have been too young for that, but that's from what I've heard. Um,
It was. Mm.
yeah. I guess what's your favorite song to play? I know for DJ set, you've mentioned before on another interview that it's Tom's Lament, but what would you say has been your favorite song to
Yeah.
play from all the previous work?
Uh, Damn. I don't know. America Song, definitely. That is one that like, okay, like when we do buzzing through to the end of America Song, we do it properly, which is harder than it kind of looks because you got to get the timing right for buzzing. We do buzzing very differently live. I don't know. You would have seen it when we did Black
Yeah.
Country New Road.
I would have
We
also
like
seen
make
it
it
with
get
the full album gig as well.
yeah,
I'm sure, yeah.
yeah. But we go like really loud, and then we have this. I do a gesture, and everyone sort of completely cuts out at the same time. When it doesn't work, it's like humiliating, but when it does work, it is great. It's fun.
Say you are opening for Neutral Milk. Do you have the temptation to talk about theme from 2021 and My Wife is Jesus Christ and be like, it's just like Goldoline. Listen.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe that's the thing. That's maybe the fear with opening for Neutral Milk Hotel is we've copied them so much over the years. Um, but I don't know. I feel like I saw Julian Costa play 2 years ago, and that was like I don't know. It was crazy. It was yeah. I always forget because it's so ubiquitous how obsessed I am with Neutral Milk Hotel. You know.
Okay, you pick up. What's the first thing you play when you pick up a guitar? Like, do you have a specific song or riff you play?
Yeah, I think it's either History Lesson Part 2 by Minutemen or Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
Okay.
Get back to me. I got to think of just one more. Dominic, I'll throw it to you.
Do you have any books around you? What if you do pick up and tell me what the title is?
I don't have any books right around me. I've got a magazine that my friend made, Cupboard Magazine. Um, yeah. I do the music column for it,
Oh,
typically.
nice. Can you
So
hold it
like
up? I'm
last
curious
time
now.
we did these like crossword style interviews where everyone had to answer with just one word, and then we asked everyone the same questions and we made them into crosswords. Um, and I interviewed Hayden Pedigo, Sharp Pins, and Lewis from Black Country New Road, and it was very
Can we
cool.
see it?
I don't have it. It's like on the other side of the room.
Oh,
Actually, no, that's not even the right
Ah.
issue. But I'll send you a photo of it later.
that'd be cool.
Oh,
Thank you.
nice.
Actually, to go
Yeah.
on to that, you also, with the rest of the band, did a radio show for a little bit as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we're bringing that back, which will be so lit. We made it as we just can't help us. Everything we do, we have to like do the most difficult, complicated version of it. But our thing was we would only play records, like vinyl, which meant that our songs would always skip and like that would take us ages to like queue up the next song and stuff like that. But it was fun, and we're gonna do that again. I think pretty soon, like in the next couple of weeks, we're doing another one.
Nice. What is the last book you've read on Domino's topic?
I'm really bad at reading. Like I rarely read books. Geez, the last book I read probably was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson, which I really like.
I've got no more questions for the first one. So Dominic and Trix, have you got any?
I think Trix will have the last one here, but
All right.
do you listen to the Kooks? And if so, what's your favorite Kooks song?
I am ashamed to admit I don't listen to the Kooks, but I've always thought I would like them. One of those bands that I kind of just assume. If someone asked me, do I like them, I would say yes. But then if they're like, can you name a song? I'd be like, no. You know.
Hell yeah.
So there is a question we ask every guest that we interview at the end of the podcast, and that is, what is your ideal sandwich?
With
Ooh,
drink.
okay. With drink. I'm really glad you said with drink. When I was in New York, I went to this place called DeFonte's, and I had a sandwich that was called, I can't remember what it was called. But it was chicken like cutlet, like schnitzel. There was, I think, ham, American cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, mayo, sort of classic sort of sandwich on this giant hoagie roll. And then I got a cup of like marinara sauce to dip it in. And I got a Hawaiian punch was the drink.
Okay.
That's,
Hell yeah.
Yep.
everything's always better than the. Remember when we interviewed Elizabeth Whitington and she did the horror sandwich?
Yeah.
I still think that's the tastiest sandwich we've ever had in the sun. Well,
I still got to make a bunch of these sandwiches.
One
We'll
day
go
we'll
to
have the
If you're
Dissonant
ever in
Waves
New York
cookbook.
City, you should go to DeFonte's. Like it's in Red Hook, Brooklyn.
That's like
I would
a
highly
4-hour drive for me, and I don't have a car, but we'll keep in mind.
recommend. Next time you're down there, though, I would say that's the spot. I would recommend.
I'll look for a DeFonte's.
Yeah.
well, on
With
that,
that.
yeah. Thank you very much, Harry, for coming on here and talking. For those
I'm
who
glad we
somehow
finally did it.
For those who somehow don't have a clue, DJ set is out now. Go listen. Go buy it on vinyl if you want. It's a good album. Harry, if there's anything that you'd like to plug before we wrap up, please do so now.
No, I think you've handled it. Just the album. It's just. I mean, I'm glad we finally got this to work. We've literally been talking about it for years, I feel.
Yeah.
And that we finally did it.
I'm grateful we got here. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
Thank you all
for
for
having
listening.
me.
And we're gonna call it here. Have a great day and goodbye.